Hi folks, we're going to take a look at the solutions to page 217, number 14. Okay, so here we're working with a radian clock. Okay, so radian clock, as they explain, is just a clock where instead of going by hours, so from 0 back to the top to 12 hours, we're going from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so that's why I got 0 up here, which is also going to be 2 pi, and pi halfway around the circle is here at the bottom. Okay, so let's answer these questions. It says, what radian time corresponds to 3 p.m.? Okay, so we know that 3 p.m. would have our minute and hour hand in that way. So this will be the hour hand here. So 3 p.m. Okay, we realize is just going to be, well, 90-degree angle, which of course now we don't think of as 90 degrees, but pi over 2. Okay, so that's the time in radian time. So in B it says, what radian time corresponds to 4 p.m.? Okay, so 4 p.m. will be somewhere here. And whereas if it takes 12 to go all the way around, okay, 4 p.m. is just going to be 1/3 of the way around. So it's going to be, 4 p.m. Okay, will just be 1/3 of a whole turnaround, which is 2 pi. Okay, so that gives us 2 pi over 3. So there's our radian time. Okay, let's move on to the next one. It says, what normal time corresponds to a radian time of 3 pi over 2? So here we've got pi plus another pi over 2 gives me 3 pi over 2. Okay, so here, well, 3 pi over 2 just corresponds to, well, we know that this is just going to be 9 o'clock. Okay, so let's move on now to part D. It says, what normal time corresponds to a radian time of 11 pi over 6? Okay, so here, let's try to figure this out. 11 pi over 6. Well, at this point here, we might want to consider what is the angle for each hour. Okay, and we realize that the angle for each hour, say for 1, well, it's 1/12 of 2 pi. Okay, so here, this would be 2 pi times 1 over 12. Okay, so we realize that every hour is pi over 6 radians. And so 11 pi over 6, well, will just take us to 11 o'clock. Okay, so here 11 pi over 6 is just equal to 11 o'clock. Okay, so this might actually help us out in the next one to know that each hour is pi over 6 radians. Okay, so let's go to the last question. It says, what radian time corresponds to 7:30? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at 7 and 8. Okay, because I know 7:30 is going to live exactly in between there. So here, if each hour is pi over 6, then 7 o'clock will be 7 pi over 6. Okay, and then here 8 o'clock will just be 8 pi over 6. Okay, and in order to find, well, what's in between, well, I can just put both of these over 12. So this is going to be 14 pi over 12. This is going to be 16 pi over 12. And so the number that's in between, 7:30, is just going to be, well, between 14 and 16 is 15 pi over 12. Okay, but of course this reduces here because these are both divisible by 3. So 5 divided by 3 is 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 5 pi over 4 o'clock in radian time. Okay, so here again what we just did is we just used sections of the circle, knowing that going all the way around is equal to 2 pi, and that allowed us to figure it out all these different scenarios. Okay, that's it for this one.